sunshine. Everybody's in their places from sunshiny faces. I don't know where that came from. So today, I want to talk about a mountain. Now, who in here has been to the mountains? Anybody? Okay. All right, everybody who's been to, okay. So we got some people in here who has seen a mountain, has been to, at least saw a mountain. Everybody at least has saw a picture of a mountain. Okay? Now who in here has actually climbed a mountain? Okay? Now we got some people that's climbing mountains. Who actually has made it to the very tip top of a mountain? Okay. Was it easy? I'm not talking about drove your car up there and got out and looked and it was pretty and all that. I'm talking about actually walked, took a trail, or walked up to the top of a mountain.
It was a challenge.
It's hard. But what happened when you got to the top?
Beautiful, joyous.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Was it worth it?
Yes, sir.
It was totally worth it. Now, don't get it wrong. You had to turn around and walk back down too. Because just as far as you walked up, you got to walk back down. But it was beautiful. The view. Everything was quiet up there, right? There's not a lot of action going on. You don't hear cars going. You don't hear a bunch of people talking, which is my favorite part, is the quietness when you get up there. It's quiet. It's peaceful. You hear nothing but what? God's creation all around you. Nothing but the birds chirping, maybe the eagle. The wind. But see, you couldn't hear that before. But why couldn't you hear it before? Distractions. You didn't even know what you was being distracted from, but it was all around you. Before, it was just normal to hear the cars rushing up and down the road. It was normal to hear people talking all the time. Voices. All the time. See, there's something beautiful about climbing a mountain. That's why you see, I mean, there's movies about it. There's all these books about it. There's all these people who talk about and they equate their life to climbing a mountain. So there must be something to this. There must be something to this mountain. All through the Bible we see it. All through the Bible we see Jesus and Moses and Elijah and all these great men going up onto the mountain. But see, in order to go up to the mountain, where do you have to come from?
The valley.
The valley. There's always a valley at the base of a mountain. Now what goes on in the valley?
Life.
Well, there is life in the valley. There's a lot of noise in the valley. You know why? Because everybody's in the valley. Everybody's hanging out in the valley. There's a lot going on in the valley. Now if you look, most cities are not built on a mountain. Now there is a few, but most cities are built where the mass population is in the low part in the valley. So that's where most people live. The mountain population in North Carolina, when you go and they say, well, 5,000 people live here. Well, 4,200 of them live in the valley. The rest of them are scattered out up on the mountains. That's why when you ride through at night, you can see little lights. Little lights everywhere. That's how you know where people are. So, there's something to be said about an hour. Let's go to Luke 9. We're going to start in 18. Luke 9, 18. Everybody got it? Getting there? Almost, maybe? Alright. We're going to go. Luke 9:18. And it came to pass, as he was alone praying, who was alone? Jesus. As Jesus was alone and praying, his disciples were with him. So how many people was with him? 12. That was his disciples. Alright, so he had 12 people with him. And he asked them, saying, whom say the people that I am? So he asked the disciples, what are they saying about me? Who do they say that I am? And they answering said, John the Baptist. But some say, Elias. And some say that one of the old prophets is risen again. So the people that they were hearing, the voices that they were hearing were saying that Jesus was either an old prophet that had been risen, that he was John the Baptist. John the Baptist dead and risen, or who knows what happened. This is all the crazy things that they were saying about Jesus. Alright? And then he said unto them, but whom say you, he said, who do you say that I am? Who do you say that I am? Not what they say. What do you say about it? And Peter, answering, said, the Christ of God. The Christ of God. Now, I found this next little verse odd. It caught my attention. And he said, and he straitly charged them and commanded them to tell no man that thing. He told them, don't tell anybody that. Don't tell anybody that I'm the Christ of God. And then in number 22 it says the Son of Man. Now I went back and looked, and all through the Bible Jesus referred to himself as the Son of Man. He never called himself Christ. He never said, I am the Christ of God. He never said that, even though that's who he was. He always referred to himself as the Son of Man. Alright, so let's keep that just kind of on the side burner. Saying the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be slain and be raised on the third day. So he's telling them what's about to happen. Hey, I'm going to be rejected. Matter of fact, at that point he was already rejected from all the people, from all the religious sector, all the religious people, the scribes, the important people. The people who had all the knowledge, and they had the proper way of speaking. And they could say the eloquent words, and they could roll off scriptures. Those people rejected him. Okay. And he's saying, I'm going to be rejected by these people, and I'm going to be slain. I'm going to be killed, and then I'm going to be raised up on the third day. And he said to them, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. So if any man will come after me, what does he have to do? He has to take up Jesus' cross. No, that's not what it says. It says take up his cross. See, I have to take up my cross. My cross. Now we went over this before. Jesus is the example. He is the example of everything that ever was and ever will be. He is the perfect example. That's why he called himself the Son of Man, so that he could become the Son of Man, so that he could show us the Christ of God. So he could show us what God looked like and what we were supposed to look like. So it says, take up his cross daily and follow me. For whosoever will save his life, what happens to the one who saves his life? Loses it. Are y'all asleep this morning?
No.
Yes, sir.
Y'all not asleep. Y'all reading the same thing I'm reading. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the man who saves his life shall lose it. Okay? But whosoever will lose his life for my name's sake, what happens?
Save.
The same shall save. So in order to save my life, I must lose it. But if I try to save my life, if I try to save this life that I have been dealt, see, the life we had before BC, before Christ, was dealt to us. There's things that we went through, and there's things that we carry in that life, because there's two lives, by the way. There's life before Christ, and then there's life after Christ.
Go ahead.
Alright, so that life that we were dealt before Christ was a life of destruction. It's a life of confusion. It was a life of selfishness. See, I was very selfish. I don't know, maybe I'll just speak on behalf of me.
No.
My BC life, before Christ's life, was very, very selfish. And so I wanted to do what Joshua wanted to do. And I didn't care about nobody else. And so I held on to this life that I enjoyed. That I thought was, well, this is my life. Ain't nobody ever said this. I'm going to do this my life. Don't tell me what to do.
Amen.
Ain't nobody ever said that.
No.
No? Okay, good. This my life. You can't tell me what to do. Well, you just worry about your life. This is my life. And see, I was saving my life for what I wanted and for what pleased me, and I didn't care about nobody else. I didn't. I'll just be straight up and honest with you. Actually, most of you probably experienced that from me at some point in time. You experienced me carrying my life, and it affected you in a negative way. Somehow, some way. It did. And because I wanted to save, really what I was saving the anger that was inside of me. I was saving the pain that was inside of me. I was saving the things that were done to me that was not God. I was saving that. And because I was saving that, whenever I didn't get my way, whenever I didn't get what I wanted, whenever I didn't get what I thought was best for me at that point in time, I would get mad. I'd be mad, angry, upset. Oh, you're not going to do what I want. Well, you ain't no good for me. Yeah, I'll show you. You just wait. I'll show you. Because if you do what I want, then well, I know best. And because I carried all this for so long, my life was in destruction. So therefore, let's go back to the mountain. We're going to get to the mountain in a minute. But let's just equate this to the mountain. I was sitting in the valley with everybody else. I was in the valley talking about people talking about things that people talk about in the valley. See, what do people do? And think about Moses when he was leading out, trying to lead these people out of bondage. And he went up on the mountain. They were down there in the valley murmuring and complaining. And not only were they doing that, they were creating other gods.
That's right.
Well, who thought to make this cow? Who thought to make this golden cow? Where did this golden cow come from? Well, it comes because I think it's best that we make a cow. Well, maybe somebody else thought we should make a cat. No, it's what I want. And so they make their own gods. I made my own gods. See, I made myself my God. And because I made myself my God, everything that was around me, if it was not for me, and if it was not what I wanted, then I would remove myself from it. See, God is on the mountain, by the way. We're going to find that in a minute. But the people in the valley are all selfish people. So therefore, when you hang around with selfish people, what do you have? You have many gods. You have many gods, you have many different ideas, and there's no unity. There's no oneness. I believe that what we have here is unity to the ones that is left. To the ones that stayed and didn't leave. I believe that as a whole, we're one. I believe it. And because of that, because of the unity and the oneness of vision, when we do strike out to go up a mountain to see God, we're going to make it. See, but it's easy when you strike out on going up that hill and you're looking up, because really, honestly, it don't look far. It don't look far to the top until you really start walking. Me and my buddy set out one day. We was looking at a mountain. It was a small little hill. It wasn't really a huge mountain. But we said we're going to go to the top of it. 4 or 5 hours later, we made it. But it didn't look far. It looked like it was right there. Oh, we'll be there in 30 minutes. See, but most people fail when they start walking up the mountain because they don't understand what's on top of the mountain. And they're selfish and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable when you start walking up a hill. Your legs start to hurt. See, the air gets thinner on top of the mountain. It gets harder to breathe. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, let's go. Okay. It gets harder to breathe when you're going up the mountain. It's uncomfortable. But God is on top of the mountain. Let's keep reading. So we lose ourselves. Okay? For what is a man's advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, him shall the Son of Man be ashamed. And he shall come in his own glory, in his Father's, and of the holy angels. But I tell you of a truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste death till they see the kingdom of God. Now right there, I'm sorry, but the whole heaven thing, it said, they shall not taste death until they see the kingdom of God. So where is the kingdom of God? It's not in heaven. It's inside. It's all around us. Okay, so some of these disciples, he was only speaking to 12, by the way. Remember that. Shall not see death until they experienced the kingdom. Okay, just throwing that out there. And it came to pass, about 8 days after these sayings, he took Peter and John and James and went up. Where'd he go up? A mountain. He went up into a mountain to pray. And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance. Now what is the countenance? His color. His countenance. Everything, his face, his appearance began to change. Okay? So, we see his countenance changing. I'll flip the page. And was altered. And his raiment, his clothing, was white and glistening. So imagine this. He didn't take all 12 up there, by the way. He only took 3. Why did he only take 3? Because he told them, he said, some of you will experience the kingdom before you taste death. Okay. But besides that, everybody's not going to go up on the mountain. It ain't for everybody to go. See, there's a chosen few. Everybody thinks the 12 is chosen. Yes, the 12 is chosen, but then again, on top of that, there's like another cut. And see, they made the cut. Only 3 of them made the cut. Why did these 3 make the cut? What's that?
Faith, love, and hope.
Faith, love, and hope. They were, well, John was the beloved. Peter, we read about Peter Sunday night. He asked Peter, do you love me? He asked him 3 times. He kept asking him. Why did he keep asking him? Because he wanted to make sure that Peter knew to feed his sheep. Because he knew Peter would. And see, these 3 guys were chosen. They were special. They stood out amongst the other 12. And because of that, what did they see? They seen something that nobody else had ever seen. Where did they experience something that nobody else had ever seen? On top of the mountain. The ones in the valley didn't experience the same thing that these 3 did. The ones in the valley didn't see Jesus' countenance change. And because his countenance changed, because Jesus changed his raiment, his clothes had to change.
Yes.
This is nothing but clothes. See, when you change, all of a sudden, everything around you changes.
Yes.
When your countenance changes, when what's inside of you changes, all of a sudden, the outside has to change. Let's keep reading. And behold, there talked with him 2 men, which were Moses and Eli, who appeared in glory and spake of his decease, which should accomplish at Jerusalem. So now you got Moses, who's been dead God knows how long, who's been gone for years and years and years. You got Eli, who's he's been gone for years and years, and these 3 boys are sitting here watching them talk. Jesus is glowing. Now I just want y'all to understand, some of you might not believe this. Some of you might not think nothing about this, but I take everything in this as very physical and related to my life. So they're sitting here watching Jesus after he just told them that I am the Christ of God. Don't tell anybody, because they won't understand. I'm the Christ of God. I'm the very being of God. And now they're on a mountain watching Jesus talk to 2 men who's been gone for years and years and years, who were a representation of Jesus through the past. Now there had to be some kind of Holy Spirit here for them 3 guys to know that was Moses to know who they were.
Yes.
There had to be some insight within them to say, that's Moses. Jesus is talking to Moses. He's talking. I can't believe this. Can you imagine what these guys are thinking? But Peter, now, here's a but right here. Now, there's always a but. Now, go with me on this. But Peter and they that were with him were heavy with sleep, and they were awake, and they saw his glory and the two men that stood with him. And it came to pass, as they departed from him, Peter said unto Jesus, Master, it is good for us to be here. Now here we go. Peter's coming out with something crazy. It's good for us to be here. Let us make 3 tabernacles. Let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, and let us make one for Moses, and one for Eli's. And not knowing what he said while he spoke this, there came a cloud. So Peter had brought his mindset, his valley mindset, up on top of the mountain. He brought his mindset and said, oh, this is amazing. I tell you what, back when Peter answered and said, whom do you say that I am? And Peter answered that right, I think he got a little above his raising. He got a little above his raising because Jesus is talking to these guys. Now, for me, when I was younger, you didn't walk up and talk when there's adults talking.
That's right.
You'd get your teeth slapped.
That's right.
You didn't walk up and say, I remember my daddy would be talking to a group of men. I didn't just walk in there and just start talking in their conversation. Well, that's basically what Peter did right here. He got above his raising. And because he got above his raising, he's saying, look, let's build a tabernacle. Let's do what we've done for the last 1,000 years. Let's bring this mindset of we're going to make Moses a tabernacle because he's a God. And we're going to make Eli's a tabernacle because he's a God, and Jesus, you too. See, that's the problem where he messed up, because right then he equated those 2 guys to Jesus. And what happened? A cloud came. All of a sudden a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they feared as they entered into the cloud. And there came a voice out of the cloud saying, This is my beloved Son. Hear him. Don't hear everybody else. Actually, everything that you've been taught, forget about it. Hear what he's got to say. Because right now, that cloud would have never come if Peter wouldn't have said something stupid. That cloud was there to show them who God was.
Go ahead.
And see, he said, hear him. And when the voice was passed, Jesus was found alone. He was just Jesus. Why? Because it's always been just Jesus. And that's all it's ever going to be, is just Jesus. Hear what he's got to say. And when the voice passed, Jesus was found alone, and they kept it close and told no man in those days any of the things which they had seen. There was nothing but Christ. There was nothing but Christ on this mountain. They seen something that nobody else had seen. But finally, what happened? They kept their mouth shut about what they had seen. Because they realized that now, all of a sudden, you know what? I just said something really, really dumb. And because I said something really dumb, this cloud had to come, and who knows what would have happened if I wouldn't have said something really stupid in that time. You know what? I need to shut up. I need to quit talking. Because obviously what's inside of me, what I got to say is not of God. And it's not truth, because if it was truth, then my actions would predict what's inside. See, my countenance hasn't changed because what's inside has not changed. And therefore I'm still wearing the old filthy rags that I've been wearing my whole life. And I'm wearing the same clothes and the same raiment that my mama and daddy wore. And I'm still got the same mentality, because why did I want to build a tabernacle for Moses? Actually, why did I want to build a tabernacle at all? Because he just told me that I am the Christ of God. That I am the very being of God. And he's told me before, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, even into the end of time. So why do I keep even talking? Why don't I just listen to the God's beloved Son? Why don't I just hear His voice instead of all these other voices and listen to what He's got to say? Because if I hear His voice, I'll never go astray.
Yes.
If I hear His voice, I won't go off track talking about some nonsense. I won't get caught up in the religion that my ancestors were caught up in. Matter of fact, if I hear His voice, my very lineage changes. See, I've took my whole life and I dedicated it to myself in the valley. I spent my whole life sitting in the valley looking at the mountain and not wanting to go up because somebody told me it was hard. But see, the thing is, you're the chosen. You're the chosen one, and it's like Jesus has got a key, and the key is up on the mountain. And when He asks you to come, when He bids you to come, Peter, off the boat and take that leap of faith, when He bids you to come, you need to come, because tucked away in His garments, He's got a key. And that key is going to change your life indefinitely.
Yeah.
So when He says, Peter, John, hey boys, y'all follow me up this mountain. You better go. And it ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy. I was in the valley. We've all heard the valley of decision. But the only decision is in the valley is which mountain are you going to climb? Which way are you going to go? The only decision in the valley really is, am I going to stay in the valley, or am I going to make the trip that's hard? Or am I going to sit right here and be confused because I don't know which way to go? See, on the top of a mountain you can see for miles. For miles. So therefore, once you've been up on a mountain, if you're on a journey, once you've been to that mountaintop, now you have a direction, because you remember in your head where the other mountains are and where the valleys are. And I know I got to go this way. I know I have a direction to set before me, and I've got a place I got to go. So therefore, just the simple knowledge of being able to see so far where you couldn't before changes your whole life. There's so much on top of a mountain. There's so much to these stories of these guys who have climbed Mount Everest. There's movies. There's everything is about it. And the key to everything is to lose yourself. Now that's what we talk about all the time. Them boys lost themselves on the mountain that day. They lost themselves. They got over themselves. How humbling was it when the cloud come? Because it was immediately. When the cloud come and all of a sudden these guys were gone and there's nothing left but Jesus and these three boys. See, when you finally realize that there's nothing left but you and Jesus, and that's all there is Christ in you, the hope of glory. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to go nowhere to see Christ. Actually, He's waiting for you in the valley to take you up the mountain. He's bidding you to come. He's telling you, come with me. All through the scripture, He talks about taking you higher. But see, can't nobody take you nowhere when you sit there and I'm going to do it my way. I had a death grip on my way, and because I had a death grip on my way, I was immovable. You couldn't tell me nothing, you couldn't push me, you couldn't shove me, I was immovable. See, but Christ, He'll shake you up a little bit. He'll cause a quake that'll shake you. And see, everything that's not God, it falls off. It falls off and there's nothing left but Him. But see, if you do what's hard now, you take the trip now up the mountain. Because there ain't many people going up. There's not many people going up. There's very few. There's very few that's going to make the trip. I don't know what the percentage was, but I asked you who had seen the mountain. Everybody's seen the mountain. Everybody raised their hand. Who's been to a mountain? Then when you get down to climbing the mountain, how many does that weed out? Who's actually started at the bottom and physically climbed? See, that's where we're at. That's where we're at in life. We're either going to sit in our ways and our traditions of men, by the way. It's not traditions of God, even though you say it's God. You say it's God, but it just told you the scribes and those were going to kill Him. The Pharisees, they were going to kill Him. The traditions of men were going to kill Him. But see, it's up to you to be risen. To carry your cross. Daily. Daily. To take those little things and decide that today I'm going to ascend. I'm going to be better than my old self. And I want to be more like Christ, because either way you look at it, to be better in yourself, because He said if it's good, it's me. Anything that's good is God. We don't have to sit up here and preach some holy and say Jesus 10,000 times. No. If it's good, it's of Him. No matter what it is. So as long as we're walking in good, we're walking up this mountain. We're ascending. And we have to ascend to experience the glory, the countenance change, to experience God and His raiment, His whole being change. And when that happens, you lose yourself completely. Lose yourself or lose yourself, either way you want to look at it, it's coming from darkness into light. It's coming from selfish to selflessness. It's coming from from evil to good. It's coming from destruction to construction. Maybe this don't mean anything to anybody. Maybe this word don't captivate anybody, but when it does, when you see Christ like that, when you finally see it, you don't come off the mountain the same way. You don't have to tell anybody how much you love God, because I honestly, you took on something that just shines God's love out of you. Your whole raiment, everything about you changes. The very next thing they did after they come off of that mountain is they went and cast a demon out of a child, because nobody else could do it. Why? Because they hadn't been on the mountain. And he told them, he said, ye have little faith. Well, why did they have little faith? Because they hadn't yet been on the mountain. They still had a piece of themselves. See, whenever you come off the mountain, then you can save lives. Then you can change a child's life, because if you change a child's life, if you take destruction from a child, how many lives would that touch? They touch the most innocent of innocent when they come off of the mountain. There's no coincidence. It was a change of mind which led to a change of heart, which led to a change of lives. I've told you before, and I'll always say this, it ain't all about you. I'm sure people get mad with me all the time. Guess what? It won't be the first time or the last time. But most of the time when people get mad with me, it's because I didn't do what they wanted me to do. Most of the time when people get mad with me, it's because the step I took in the direction which was good necessarily wasn't the step that they wanted me to take. And see, these boys didn't care anymore. It didn't matter anymore, because they had seen truth. They had seen truth in its purity. They had seen God. They had seen the fullness of God. They had seen the kingdom of heaven on earth, by the way. They had walked and stood in the presence of the King. And once that happens, yeah, you may walk down off the mountain to go up another mountain, but see, now you don't look the same anymore. You don't walk the same anymore. Now everything you touch, like King Midas, turns to gold. It turns to good. It turns to prosper. Why? Because you are, and the King is inside of you. Christ in you, the hope of glory. Greatest thing we have. Climb the mountain. When it's hard, look, when it used to get hard for me, what would I do? Turn back to the valley. Because it's flat down there. Everybody's down there. It's easy down there. So I would turn back to the valley. I would turn back to the place where I could sit down and I could rest. There is no rest walking up a mountain. Because anywhere you sit down is on an incline. The only hope you have, the hope of glory, is to get to the top.
Yes.
So that you can rest. The only place where you're going to find peace is at the top. And at the top, they're not worshiping false gods. They're worshiping the one true God. I want to get to the top. Am I at the top? No. That's why I got to take up my cross daily. I got to remove, I got to, how can I say this? I got to remove the enemy, my flesh, kill off my flesh daily. Remove myself so that I can have nothing but Christ.
Yeah.
Daily. Every day we have an opportunity to do at least one thing different for the better. I used to think about, people ask me, how did you quit doing drugs? How did you quit? Well, I don't know, I just, no. What it was is overall I quit doing drugs. Okay, but there was a lot of little steps in the right direction daily. I did little things daily on a consistent basis that continued to better myself. And daily, even though it seems so small, daily I accomplished that goal. But see, in accomplishing that goal, there was a much bigger goal in mind. Was to change my life so I could change others' lives. And even in that, now, today, tomorrow, yesterday, I have to daily make these small steps. Because daily I just want to look a little bit more like Christ. If I can change this over the next couple of days and make it a pattern, a consistent pattern, to not do the old things, but come into the new things. Life changes. And I told you, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about everybody else. So whenever that happens, everything changes. This life is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful up on the mountain. If you want to do something and you've never been to the mountains, your next vacation, go to the mountains and go to the top of one and tell me it is not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Tell me when you hear the birds, when everything's quiet, there's no cars going on, when everything's quiet, there's no music, there's nothing but God's beauty. There's nothing but His face up there. There's nothing but it. And then take that view that you saw naturally and chase after it spiritually. Chase after that peace spiritually. Want that feeling inside of you all the time. And your whole life will change. See, now I'm going to have to take a trip to the mountains. Just so y'all know. There's going to be a Sunday I'm not going to be here, and I'm going to have to go to the mountains. Kara's, she's already planning. I seen her on her phone while ago. No, this life is awesome. This life is awesome, and it's too great not for us. I'm talking about us because I don't experience this all the time. For us to not strive to live on top of the mountain. And it's very, very, it's not a hard strategy to get up it. You just got to start walking. You just got to start. Starting is the hardest part. You ask anybody who's ever tried to go and go to the gym. Starting is the hardest part.
Amen.
But once you get going, you start to enjoy the process. Why? Because you look and see how far you came. You see how far you came and you see where other people's at and you say, while I'm going up. Man, I did that. But hold on, I got to go some more because he's got the key.
Yeah.
Jesus led them up a mountain. They didn't, Jesus led them. Because he's got the key. So I got, wait, Jesus, you're getting away from me, I'm coming. You got to chase him. He's going to lead you to the top. In every aspect of your life. I'm done. I love you guys. I expect everybody to go to the top. That's my expectation. Will it happen? Maybe. But we're all the chosen. So let's go. I'll climb it with you. I'll go with you.
Yes, sir.
Love you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.